Whenever you will first launch your AutoCAD, you will be able to see screen like this that you can see right now. As you can see, I had Autodesk AutoCAD 2021 version installed, and this is my user interface look like. So if I want to start a new drawing, I will simply make a single left click onto this area. I will just make a single left click, and here you can see my drawing just got started. And if I will zoom in and zoom out, you can see that using my mouse scroll wheel I can adjust my screen. Right now by default I am into the paper space, as you can see over here, or it's also known as layout space. So I will just click on this model space to move on to the area where I will be able to create anything, any drawing, any objects. So this is the space where you will be able to create any of your designs or drawings, and it's called model space. So the first thing I always prefer to do is to save my drawing. As you can see, by default AutoCAD has already provided me this name drawing 2, but I will click on this save icon onto the top, and this star icon with this name shows that this drawing is not saved. To save this drawing, I will simply click on this save icon, and the moment I will click on the save icon, here you can see this window will pop up where I can specify the location where I want to save my file. Let's say I want to save inside this folder, AutoCAD training. I will simply move on to that folder. I will move on to any of the folder. I will give it a name. Let's write it floor plan. So this is the file name that I had assigned to this folder, and also the type of file is AutoCAD drawing. So by default all the drawings AutoCAD will be saving as .dwg file extension. So this is the default file format for AutoCAD, and then I will just click on this save, and here you can see by this name already there is a file. So I will just click on yes, I want to replace it. If there is no any file already existing with the same name, it will simply get saved. So as you can see, the moment I had clicked on save, the file name just got updated, right? So this is how you can start a drawing and save your file in any of your folder in your PC or laptop. Now we had to assign the right unit for this drawing. So to assign right unit, we'll run this right unit command. Here you can see I will just write units in my command bar and will press enter. And the moment I will press enter, a new window will pop up like this, as you can see, where inside this type section I will simply change the decimal to architectural, since we are going to create architectural drawing, and then I will just press OK. So here you can see my units just got changed to architectural, and the same you can also be able to see on the right bottom corner. Here you can see my units just got changed to architectural. So this is how I can change my unit inside AutoCAD. As you can see on your screen, this is the floor plan we are going to prepare, we are going to create inside AutoCAD, and this floor plan consists of multiple entities. There are grid lines assigned with different numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like this. Then we got these dimension values. Then we got this text as annotations for different areas. Then we got these walls, windows, doors, furnitures, and all those things. So we are going to create floor plans, something similar to this inside AutoCAD. For that, first we will set up our layers inside AutoCAD. Layers in AutoCAD is a tool that helps you categorize different objects or entities into different segments or different categories. So this is what we are going to do now. So to set up layers, you can see onto the tool panel there is a different section that is named as layers. So inside layers, if I will just click on this drop down over here, and here you can see by default there are already 3 different layers assigned. So whenever you will launch your AutoCAD for the first time, or you will start to create your first drawing, these 3 layers will always be here by default. So to create new layers, I will simply click on this layer properties panel, and here you can see this is my layer properties panel, and here I already have 3 different layers created. So what I will do, I will just click on this icon over here that says new layers, and if I will click on it, a new layer just got added. So this way I will create new layers, all different new layers, and I will show you how. So first I will assign the name for this layer. Let's say I'm setting up a grid layer, so I will simply write grid. Then I will make sure that the color for this layer is something different. So instead of black, if I will click on this color icon, I will get this color box where I will select some different color for this layer, and then I will press OK. So here you can see this is the new assigned layer for this color. I will make sure that the line type is also not continuous. So I will click on this line type box and a new window will pop up, and here to load a different line type I will click on the load option over here. And here you can see inside load options we got multiple different line types inside AutoCAD. I will just scroll down and I will select dash line types. Here you can see this is my dash line types. I will select that, I will press OK, and I will select my new line type and I will press OK. So here you can see for this grid layer I had changed two different properties. One is this color changed to gray, and this line type changed to dash. And then again I will assign a new layer. So this way you can create multiple layers. So let me quickly create few more layers before we move on. As you can see, we had already added few more layers into this AutoCAD drawing. So after this grid, there are dimension layers, walls, doors, windows, furniture and text layers. So apart from the default 3 layers, we had already added few more layers. So while creating this floor plan, if we feel that we need to add more layers, we'll keep adding few more layers just by going through this layer properties panel. So I will just again click on this layer properties panel to turn off the layer features over here. Now the next thing that we are going to do is we'll start creating these grids that you can see. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the grids over here like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So first we'll create these grids. So to create these grids, first we had to activate that layer. So I will just keep this on to the side just as a reference. Here you can see I'm just keeping this image onto the side just as a reference. Then I will go on to the layer properties area over here. Then I will just drop it down, and from here I will just activate this grid layer. So right now this active layer is grid layer. So whatever objects I will be creating will be assigned with the grid layer properties, and we'll show you how. So the first thing I will do, I will start with the line tool. So to activate the line tool, I will just move on to the draw panel over here. Here you can see, and here you will be able to find all the tools related to drawing any entities. So I will click on this line tool to draw a line. I will click activate the tool just by making a single left click. Here you can see the tool just got active, and the moment I will activate the tool, I had to start looking through the command panel what it is asking me to do the next. So as you can see in the command panel, it is asking me to specify the first point first. So I will just specify the first point of the line, and then I will move my cursor towards bottom. So as you can see, this line is not completely vertical. So inside AutoCAD, if you want to create anything completely vertical or horizontal, there is a different setting that you have to turn on, and that is known as ortho mode. So here is the ortho mode setting. Right now it is turned off. So if I will just turn this option on, here you can see now my cursor is only moving in either vertical direction or only in horizontal direction. So now I am constrained to move in vertical and horizontal direction only. Now to specify the second point, since in the command bar it is asking me to specify the next point. So to specify the second point, before specifying the second point, I will just give input the value to the box. So I will just write 40 feet and will press enter. And here you can see I had just created a line. If I will just zoom out little bit just by using my scroll wheel, here you can see this is the line I had created. Now this is the total length of my vertical side that you can see in this image, that is 40 feet. So this is why I had created this line 40 feet long, and I will make sure that it is little bit longer than 40 feet. So I will just extend this line just by picking the one end of this line. I will click on it and I will extend it little bit more. There you can see. So this is the line I had created, but as you can see this origin point, XY point is just overlapping with my line. So to move this origin point, what I can do, I can just write this I can just turn off this icon, right? This is the icon of the universal coordinate system that I can turn it off or turn it on. So I will turn this off. So I will just write UCS, universal coordinate system, and I will click on this UCS icon, and then I will turn it off. Here you can see. So this is the first grid line that we had created, that will act as a grid line grid line 1. Then after this grid line there is another grid line that is 4 feet 7 inches away. Now to create a parallel line with respect to this line, there is a tool inside modification section, inside modify section, and that tool is known as offset tool. So I will just simply activate this offset tool. Here you can see. Now it is asking me that how much distance you want to create between the two parallel line. So that distance is 4 feet 7 inches. So I will just input that value from my keyboard, 4 feet dash 7 inches. Here you can see. I will press enter, and then it is asking me to select the object that I want to offset. So this is the object that I want to offset. So I will select the object. I will make a single left click, and then I had to specify the direction in which I want to make an offset. So I will make sure that this is the direction towards right. I will click towards that direction, and just that line just copied with an offset distance of 4 feet 7 inches. In the similar manner, I will repeat the same process to create the other vertical lines. So here you can see I had created all the vertical grids using the offset tool, and there are few things that I want to tell you at this moment. For example, if you had activated any of the tool, and when you are done with the tool, you just need to press escape on your keyboard to come out of the tool, and your cursor will be at default state. Also, if you want to reactivate the last command used, you don't have to go to the tool panel to activate the tool. Just press spacebar, and the last tool that you had used will get activated. So you don't have to move all the time your cursor to reactivate the tool. Just press spacebar on your keyboard, and your last used tool will be reactivated. Now we will start creating the horizontal grids, the grids that you can see starting with the annotation A. So for that, first line that I will create using the line tool. So I will activate the line tool. I will specify the first point and then the second point like this. Here you can see. Now since I had created the first line, then again I will use the offset tool to create multiple horizontal lines. So we'll repeat the same process. We'll activate the offset tool. We'll specify the offset distance, and this time this offset distance here you can see is 8 feet 5 inches. So I will just specify that value, 8 feet 5 inches, and we'll press enter. Here you can see. Then I will specify the object that I want to offset, then the direction into which I want to offset, and the moment I am done, I will just press escape to come out of the tool. Then if I want to reactivate the tool, just press spacebar, and the same tool just got activated. The only thing I need to change the offset distance. So let's do it, and let's create all the horizontal grids. Now as you can see, we had already finished creating horizontal and vertical grids. Now the next task is to assign these numbers onto the end of these grid lines, as you can see into our floor plan. So we'll repeat the same. So we'll just zoom in onto the area over here. So I will just use my mouse scroll wheel to zoom in onto the area, as you can see. Now to create circle tool, I will simply move my cursor into the draw panel. I will activate this simple circle tool. As you can see, my circle tool just got active. Now it is asking me to specify the center point for the circle. So I will specify the center point at the end point of this line, and I will create a circle like this. I will make sure that my circle size is 2 feet. So I will just write 2 feet as a circle radius, and will press enter. Here you can see. Now we need to insert number inside this circle. So to insert any number inside a circle, we had to use a tool called text tool, and that text tool is called multi-line text tool. So that tool you can find inside this annotation panel. Here you can see. So inside this annotation panel there is a tool called text. So if you will expand this option from here, you can see there is a tool called multi-line text. Just activate this tool, and then you need to specify the box inside which you want to create your text. So I will specify the box, the start and the end point of the box, and here you can see the moment I had specified, the new text box just got appeared with lots of different text settings, as you can see on the top. So I will just write one over here, that you can see, and I will select the text. I will make sure that it is sitting in the center of this circle, and once I am happy with it, I will just press outside this box, and here you can see my text just got created. So I will just double click on this text to edit this text. Then again I will select this text, and I will make sure that the font I had changed. So I will change the font to Arial text font. So here you can see I will just change back to the Arial text font. Now it is looking very good, and I will change the size for this text. So the size right now is, as you can see, is something 2 feet. So I will just I will keep this text size as 2 feet. So I will just change that to 2 feet and will press enter. And here you can see that let's leave the text size as it is. The only thing that I want to do is I want to reorient it. So I will select the text again. I will activate my move tool. Then I will click on the center of the text, and then I will try to place it on the center of this circle. Here you can see this is how I can do it. Now as you can see, this line is just crossing this circle and the number as well, and this is not looking very good. So to adjust these things, what I will do, I will select the number and I will also select the circle, and both of them are selected at the same time. I will activate this tool called move tool. So it's a tool related to modifying your drawing. As you can see, it's inside modification panel. So I will activate this modification tool, move tool, and here you can see the tool just got activated. Now I will click on the bottom point on this circle, that is the intersection of this line and the circle, and then I will move my circle towards the top, and I will click on the end point of the line. Here you can see this is how what I did. I had moved both the objects to the end point of the line. Now what I will do, I just want the same copy onto the every end point of the line. So I will make a copy. So let's see how we can copy something inside AutoCAD. For that, just select the objects. Here you can see I had selected both the objects. Then I will activate my copy tool, and then I will specify the insertion point of my copy tool. So I will select this end point of the line as an insertion point, base point, and then I will keep clicking on the other end point of the line, and as you can see the copies are being created on the every line. And the moment I am done with the thing, I can just press escape on the keyboard and we are done. Now the only thing now we had to do is we had to change the text. So to change any text, just double click on the text, just press Ctrl A to select everything and erase it by pressing the backspace key on your keyboard, then rewrite the new number. Here you can see. We'll do the same for the other circles as well. So as you can see, we had assigned different numbers to the different vertical grids. The same will do for the horizontal grids as well. For that, what I will do, I will copy the number 1 again. So I will select both the objects. I will activate the copy tool, and then instead of selecting the end point as a base point, I will select this side point as a base point. And now I will move my cursor onto the end point of this bottom line, and I will click on that, and here you can see the same just got copied from here to here like that. And I think the one is not very centered position, so I will just select the number. I will activate my move tool. I will move it little bit towards the right, maybe by a little very small value, and I will keep it like this. Here you can see. Now I will repeat the same process. We'll select both the objects, the number and the circle. We'll activate the copy tool. We'll select this end point as a base point for copy, and then we'll copy on all the end point of the lines. There you can see. And then I will press escape to come out of the tool. Then we'll change the values. So I will just double click on the text and will erase it and will give a new value. I just want to give an alphabetical number. Here you can see. I will readjust it little bit using my move tool. Little bits towards the top, then again we'll move it little bits towards the right, so it will be on the center. Right, now do the same with the other grids as well. Just edit other grids also. Here you can see we had just finished creating all the vertical and horizontal grids inside AutoCAD. So we had just completed the first task of our creating this floor plan. The first objects we had finished. So all of these things that we had created is under this grid layer. Also, as you can see, whenever we had created these lines, and these lines, horizontal and vertical lines, these lines should be dashed lines, right? but they are looking at continuous lines. It's all because the line type scale is very high. So if you will just zoom in, here you can see these lines are dash line, but these dashes are very small in size. So to change the scale of these lines, so it will look like a dash line, what we had to do is just select all the lines, then you had to run a new command that says line type scale. So for that I will just write LT scale. Here you can see this is the command to change the scale of any line type. So I will just press enter to activate the tool. So right now as you can see the line type scale is 1. So we'll try to increase that line type scale to maybe 10 and we'll press enter. And as you can see it's looking a little bit better now, but maybe we had to increase it little more. So again we'll run this tool LT scale. Here you can see I will try to change the line type to maybe 25 and we'll press enter. Now they are looking much better. We had just finished creating this grid. Now we'll start creating the external walls. Before creating the walls, we'll change the layer to walls. So I will go on to this layer panel. I will just click on this drop down, and from here I will activate the walls layer as a current layer. Now I will go on to my draw panel and I will activate this polyline tool just by making a single left click. Here you can see tool just got active. Now I will start creating the wall outline. So I will start from this point, from here to here, then to grid D, then I will move in this direction to 4 grid. Here you can see, so the moment I am moving my cursor, it is automatically snapping onto the every point. As you can see, every intersection point. It's all because my snap mode is turned on, and that you can turn off using the option over here. You can see that using the F3 keyboard shortcut you can turn off your snap modes, but since my snap mode is turned on, it is automatically helping me to detect the points where I want to create my lines. Here you can see that I am creating this polyline. I will click on over here and then I will press enter to finish up this line. As you can see, I had just created this line, but this small extension is extra that we had created. So I can click on the end of this line and drag it to up to this point. Here you can see. Now we got a closed loop, as you can see, for the walls, external walls. Now what I will do to give the thickness to this external walls, I will use this offset tool. Here you can see that I will activate this offset tool. Now in the command panel, as you can see, the first thing it is asking me to specify the distance. So let's consider that the external walls are 8 inches thick. So first I will write 4 inches as an offset distance and will press enter. Then we'll select this polyline and we'll click on towards this direction. So it got offsetted by a value of 4 inches, and we'll repeat the same on the other side. Here you can see. So now our external wall just got created, but as you can see these walls are coming like a dash line, but we want these lines to be solid line. So maybe there is a problem with our layer. So I will go on to the layer properties panel, and in the walls layer you can see the line type is selected to dash. So this is not the right line type, so I will click on this dash icon over here, dash name over here, and a new window will pop up that you can see like this. Here I will change it to continuous solid line and then I will press OK. Here you can see it just got changed. Now I will close the layer panel, and as you can see all of my drawing also just got updated. Now we had to create the internal lines, right? For that we'll use some simple lines. So I will activate this simple line tool, then I will start creating this line like this, as you can see. So just finish up creating all the lines from all the points, and then we can use the offset tool to finish up these walls. Here you can see onto this area there is a small extension of this wall. So I will simply click on this point and we'll make an extension of around 4 feet. So I will write 4 feet and will press enter. Here you can see I just created a small extension over here. So this could be smaller also, so the choice is all yours how much you want to create over here. Also, as you can see, this complete area over here has been divided into 3 different areas, right? So but the major wall that you can see over here is this one. So that you can see is just 4 feet 3 inches away from this wall. So I will just use my offset tool, then I will write the distance 4 feet dash 3 inches, then I will press enter, and then I will select the wall that I want to offset, and into this direction I want to offset. So I will click on that direction, and then I will activate my trim tool. Since I don't want these lines, so I will simply trim down all the unnecessary lines. Since we had just finished creating all the center lines for my wall, now I will use the offset tool to create walls like this. So I will activate the offset tool, then we'll specify the offset distance as 4 inches. I will press enter, then I will offset all the lines in both the direction. As you can see, we had just finished creating all the walls. Now I will simply close this area using this line tool. Here you can see that. Now what I can do, since I had finished creating all the walls, I can simply select all the center lines and I can erase them. So I will activate my erase tool and I will erase all the unnecessary walls. So as you can see, we had just finished erasing all the unnecessary walls. So again I will activate my trim tool to trim down all the unnecessary lines that is extending after the walls. Here you can see all these lines that are just extending or crossing the wall line. So I will activate my trim tool, then I will trim down all those areas. Even I will trim down these areas that will make all my walls to look like as a continuous walls and connected to each other. So here you can see we had just finished creating and trimming all the unnecessary lines that was crossing across all the walls. So here you can see the outline for my complete floor plan just got finished. And again, before we'll get started and we'll start adding doors and windows to our walls, as you can see as per this image, these are all doors and these are all windows. Some are external windows, double door windows, and some are single door windows. So now we'll start creating those windows. Before that, what I will do, I will just create this porch area just by creating a single line, and I will also create this terrace area. For that I will change my layer to simple 0 layer. Here you can see, then I will simply activate the line tool, and from end of my wall I will create a line, straight line like this, and I will again activate my line tool. From this end of my wall I will create a line like this. Then I will simply trim down all the unnecessary extended areas. Here you can see. We'll do the same on this area as well. We'll activate the line tool. We'll create a line from this point to this point like this. Then we'll again activate the line tool and we'll create a line from this point to this point like this. Then I will trim down these external areas using this trim tool. Here you can see. So this is the porch area that we had created, and this is for the terrace. Now we'll move on to our next step, that is adding doors and windows into our complete floor plan. Now before we start adding doors and windows into our floor plan, the first thing that we had to change the layer. So let's say we'll start with the doors. So we'll have changed layers to doors. Here you can see. Now my active layer is doors. We'll go into the layer properties and we'll check out that the line type for the doors is correct, but it's not correct. So I will just double click on this one and we'll change the line type to continuous and we'll press OK. Here you can see for the doors layer, the line type just got updated as continuous, whereas color is blue. So it's completely fine. I will close this layer panel. Now I will come back onto the side of my drawing, and first I will prepare my door block. For that, what I will do, I will activate the line tool or else I can activate the rectangle tool, and then I will click on any point. Then we'll try to create a rectangle like this. I will make sure that the width is 40 inches and the height is 8 inches. I will press enter, and here you can see we had created a rectangle like this. Now after this, what I will do, I will make sure that I am creating a shape of door. For that, I will simply select this rectangle, or I can activate the trim tool, and then I will trim down all the top and bottom lines. Now again I will create a rectangle. So we'll activate the rectangle tool again, and this time I will start creating a rectangle from this point, and we'll create a rectangle like this, and we'll make sure that again the width is 40 inches and this time the height is just 2 inches, and we'll press enter. Here you can see I had created a rectangle like this. Now I will rotate this rectangle by some angle, maybe on 30-degree angle. So I will select this rectangle, then I will activate the rotate tool onto this modify tool panel. Here you can see now I will specify this top point as a point of rotation. I will click on it, then I will specify an angle of 30 degree and will press enter. Here you can see something like this. Now I want to connect these 2 points. For that, what I will do, I will activate my start, end and direction arc tool. Here you can see, then first thing it is asking me to specify the start point. So this is my start point of the arc. Then the end point of my arc will be this point, and then I will make sure that the angle is 90 degree and will press enter. Here you can see, and I had created a door kind of shape. Now I am not going to use this door into my drawing now, because before we start inserting this door onto my floor plan, I want to make sure that I had created a block of this door. So to create block, I will simply go on to the insert panel. Here you can see into this block panel, and we'll click on this create block. A new window will pop up, and you can see the first thing I will specify the name of this door. So this door is, I will just write door, and then the pick point I will click on that option, then we'll specify this point as a pick point. Then the objects that you want to include into this door, so I will click on it. I will select all these objects and will press enter. So here you can see all these objects just got selected. Rest of the settings I'm not going to change. I will make sure that this option is activated over here, convert to block, then we'll press OK. So now this just got converted to block, and that you can check. Just select your object, press Ctrl+1 to see its properties, and here you can see it says block, right? And the name of this block, here you can see it's door. I will close this properties panel again, and now I will delete this door also, since I had converted this as a block. So all the time it will be available into this drawing on this block panel into this insert option. Here you can see door, this blue door that we had just converted to block. So I will click on this block. I will press delete on my keyboard to delete this. Now I will move back onto my floor plan. Here you can see the first door that you can see is in the kitchen area over here. So I will just simply go on to the insert panel. I will activate this door tool, and I will click somewhere onto my screen first. So here is my door, but this is now horizontally oriented. I want this to be vertically oriented. So I will simply select it, then we'll activate the rotate tool, and we'll rotate it by 90 degree like this. Right, now I will make sure that this door is on the right position. So I will select the door again. I will activate the move tool, then we'll select this point as a reference point, and then we'll click on this point. Here you can see, but doors are not attached directly onto the walls, so there has to be some distance from this wall. So for that, I will again select my door. I will activate my move tool, and from this point I want a distance of 2 inches, so I will write 2 inches and will press enter, or a little bit more, maybe more 2 inches. So again I will select it, I will activate my move tool from here to more 2 inches, so I will again press 2 inches and will press enter. So now it is looking good to me. Then I will simply activate my trim tool and will trim down these lines that is coming onto this area. Here you can see. Now it's looking like a door and it's a kind of entry point into this room. The next door that we had to make, as you can see over here, just on the opposite direction of this plan, somewhere over here. So for that, what I will do, I will again go back to my block panel, we'll go into the insert, we'll click on the door, and here you can see my door is. Now I will rotate this door by again 90 degrees. So I will select the door, I will activate the rotate tool, then I will specify the base point of rotation, and then I will rotate it. I will try to see if it is matching with our plan orientation. So no, it's not matching, so I will simply rotate it by 90 degree, something like this. Then again I will move it and place it with this point reference to this point reference. Here you can see. Now I will mirror this door onto the opposite direction. So I will simply select the door, I will activate the mirror tool inside the modification panel. Here you can see the mirror tool just got activated. Now it is asking me to select the first point of mirror line. So this center line is the first point of mirror line, and just click anywhere onto the top to specify the mirror line, and then press yes, erase the source object. So I will press yes. So here you can see I just inverted or mirrored my door onto the opposite direction. Then since I had just placed the door, I will simply go back to my trim tool and will trim down all the unnecessary lines. Even you had to trim down small lines that are not required into your plan. So here we made a small mistake. As you can see, this door has to be moved by 4 inches away from this wall. So I will simply press Ctrl Z to undo the things, or you can also use this small icon over here to undo few steps. Here you can see we are back again. Now I will simply click on the door, will activate the move tool, and now I will specify this base point, and then I will move it by 4 inches and will press enter like this. Then again I will activate my trim tool, then will trim down all the unnecessary lines like this. So we had just created 2 doors for this kitchen area, and from this is the closet, as you can see into this plan. Now the next door that we had to insert is this one, that is on the bed area, as you can see. So again I will come back and zoom on to this area, then I will go back to my block panel, will go on to the insert tool, will insert a door like this. As you can see, it's getting inserted. So this time I will move it again through a point and will put on a point somewhere over like this, and then we got a very less space over here, so definitely we cannot move it by 4 inches. So I will simply select it and will try to move it by few inches, maybe 1 inches or 2 inches, and will press enter. Here you can see. Now I can simply activate the trim tool and will trim down all the walls that are coming between my doors. So just by following the same process, you had to insert all the doors into your drawing. Now as you can see, we had just finished creating all the doors for our different rooms. Now there is one more thing, like as you can see these openings between your floor plan, right? So there is a small opening without any door, so we had to create these openings as well. So for that I will simply use a line tool. I will create a line on any point first, Here you can see, then I will move this line onto the right location. So I will use the move tool, and then I will move these lines somewhere over here like 4 feet away, and then I will again copy this line used by selecting this line, and then activated my copy tool, and then this base point, and then I will create a new copy again 4 feet, something like this. So as you can see, we had created this opening area. Now I will simply activate the trim tool. Will trim down this opening area. So this could be act as an opening for my kitchen area. Right. We'll do the same onto this area as well. As you can see, there is a small opening between this living dining room and hall. So we'll try to create that again. So as you can see, we have just finished creating all the doors inside the door layer. Now since we are done with all the doors, now here is one thing. As you can see, into this current floor plan, into this drawing, all these doors are 90° open, whereas into my floor plan, all these doors are just 60° open. So we can change that just by changing one of them, because all of them are just a single block and copied on different places using this insert panel tool. So I will simply click on any of the door to edit them. I will make a right click. I will click on edit block in a place. Here you can see a new window will pop up like this. So I just need to select my block. I have to press OK. As you can see, now it's ready for the editing. So I will select this shape, this rectangle. I will activate the rotate tool. Then we'll select this point as a rotation point, and we'll try to rotate it by more 60° and we'll press enter. So here you can see it was already 30° rotated, and now we have rotated it by more 60°. So now 90° open. I will simply go to my trim tool and will click on this small drop down. I will activate this extend tool. Then I will click on this arc, and here you can see extending up to the next point. I will make sure that it is touching onto this corner like this, just by adjusting it a little bit. And then I will click on this save changes. As you can see over here, since we are right now active into the block editor mode, I will just click on this save changes. I will press OK, and as you can see, all other doors also just got updated quickly. So this is how you can change anything if you are working with blocks. It's really easy to update the content just in a fraction of seconds. Let's assume if these doors were not blocked, how much time it would have taken to change everyone one at a time. But since these were blocks, we did it in just fraction of seconds. Now our next task is to create all these windows that you can see onto the external walls. So there are multiple windows, some are double door windows, some are single door windows. We are trying to create these windows now. Now we will start creating windows. So the first thing we'll do, we'll change the layers to Windows layer. Here you can see it. Now as you can see, there are multiple windows on the external walls and over here and over here. So windows are of two types. There are double door windows and single door windows. So I will try to create a single door window block first. So for that I will just activate my rectangle tool from over here, and I will click on a point to specify the first corner point, and I will specify the window's dimension. So let's keep it 72 inches by 8 inches. Here you can see. So this is my window size. So here you can see the lines are coming as a dashed line, and I want to keep the line as a solid line. So I will go on to the layer properties panel, and in this layer properties window I will go on to the windows layer, and as you can see, for windows layer the line type is dashed. I will just double click on it, and then I will change this to continuous solid line. Then I will press OK. Here you can see for Windows layer I had updated the line type. Now I will close this layer properties manager. Here you can see the line type just got updated. So here is my window type. I will also activate my line tool, and I will create a separate line like this, just to make sure that it is looking like a window panel. Now I will convert this as a block. For that, I will simply select it, and then I will go on to the block section. I will click on this create tool. Here you can see I will give it a name, window, and then I will click on the pick point. I will select one corner point as a pick point, and then I will block. You can see the objects is already got selected. If it is not selected, I can click on select objects, then I can select all my objects, then I will press enter, and I will make sure that this convert to block option is activated, selected, and then I will press OK. So this window block just got created, and that we can verify by selecting the block and pressing Ctrl+1 onto my keyboard to open the properties panel, and here you can see this says this object is a block. I will close it now. I will delete this block, and here now I will try inserting those windows block into our floor plan. So the first window panel that you can see over here onto the center of this side into the kitchen area. So I will go on to the insert panel, and I will click on this windows block, and then I will bring my block and I will place onto the corner. Right now I want to put this window onto the midpoint of this kitchen area. So for that, what I will do, again I will select my window, I will activate the move tool, and this time I will select the midpoint of this window, and then I will try to find the midpoint of my kitchen line. Here you can see kitchen area, so here is the midpoint, and it is automatically snapping because my object snap option is turned on. So I will click on it. So here you can see from this corner I had moved this window panel up to over here. Now what I can do now is I want to delete the lines or the wall section that is coming onto this area, or I can also keep these lines, there is not a problem. But to delete those lines, first I have to make sure that I am able to select those lines. So here you can see whenever I am moving my cursor, I am able to select only windows, not the wall lines. To send my windows to the bottom of these wall lines, I will simply move my cursor onto the modify section, as you can see, and here I will expand this tool option, and I will activate this option called send to back. I will activate this tool called send to back, and then I will click on my window, and then I will press enter. Here you can see window just got behind my walls line. Now I can activate the trim tool, and then I can simply trim down these lines. Here you can see like this. Then I will press enter, and here you can see I had just trimmed down these lines, the wall lines that was overlapping my window objects. Now I had to create few more windows, like for this closet area and for this bed area. So I will copy this same window and will paste it onto two different places. So for that I will simply select my window. Here you can see I will activate my copy tool, then I will select the midpoint of my window as a pick point, then I will specify the midpoint of this wall line as a place point. Here you can see it got placed, and since my copy tool is still active, I will again press on the other midpoint of this bed 1 area. Here you can see. So I am done with copying this window on two different places. Then I will press escape on my keyboard to come out of the tool. Now I will use that same command to send my windows behind the wall lines. So we'll go on to the modify section, we'll activate the tool called send to back, we'll select both the windows and we'll press enter. Here you can see now both the objects, both my window objects, both my window blocks are back to the wall. Now I will activate the trim tool, then we'll trim down these lines that is overlapping my window lines. Here you can see. So this is how I had inserted 3 different windows onto 3 different locations, but they are same blocks. Now I will try to insert the 2 set of these windows onto this living area because it's a double door window. So I will simply go to insert panel again, then I will drag this window block. I will click on this window block and I will place it somewhere over here, but this window must be in vertical orientation. Right now it is in horizontal orientation. So I will activate my rotate tool, will select the object, will press enter, will specify the point of rotation, and then will specify the angle 90 degree as angle of rotation and will press enter. So I had just rotated that window by 90 degree. Now I will simply select that window that I had just placed, window block. I will click on the move tool, then will select this corner point as a move point and will place this window onto the midpoint of this line. Here you can see. Now again I will select that window, I will copy it and I will copy it from this point and from up to here. So here you can see we had made two window sets since it's a double door window over here. Now again the same thing, I will send them to back using the send to back tool. I will select the objects and will press enter. Now I will activate my trim tool and I will trim down all these lines that are overlapping to my windows and will press enter, and here you can see on this area I had created a double door window. Now the only window that is left at this moment is this, that is onto the bed 2 area that you can see on the bottom wall. So I will simply copy this top window, I will click on it, I will activate the copy tool, I will select it, I will select the base point of copy as this midpoint, and then I will come on to the bottom and I will click on somewhere over here. So here you can see I had placed it in the wrong place, so I had to move it back onto the walls. So I will again select it, I will activate my move tool, I will move it from this point to this point and it just got moved into the right position. Now I will activate the send to back tool from the modify panel and will click on the object and will press enter to send them back. Now I will again activate the trim tool, then will trim down all these walls and will press enter. So here you can see we had finished inserting all the windows that we had planned for our floor plan. As you can see we had just finished all external walls, all doors and all windows. Now our next task will be to add these names for the different areas, so we can specify the areas and also will try to give the exact dimension for all the areas. For example, as you can see for the kitchen area the exact dimension is this much, for the living area the exact dimension is length into width, and we'll try to do the same for all our spaces. So let's do that. Now we will start adding the text or the annotations to each room into our floor plan. But before that, as you can see this grid text and the circles are very big in size. So let's adjust those sizes first. For that what I will do, I will simply select the circles only just like this. Here you can see I had only selected 5 of the circles. Now if we'll go on to the properties, here you can see it says the diameter is 4 feet. So I can change this diameter to 1.5 feet. Here you can see all of them just got updated. Now still they are selected. Now I will simply activate my move tool and will select the bottom point of the circle and will drag it like this up to the end point of the line. So I had just corrected the size of the circles and I had also placed it onto the right location. Now again I will select all the numbers and then I will go on to the properties panel and I will check that the text height is very higher. So I will change that to 1 feet and will press enter. So you can see that I have also adjusted the text height. Now again I will activate my move tool and will try to move my text into the circles. Here you can see but the circles are not fitting correctly, so I need to adjust little bit all my text inside the circles. So I will use the move tool and will adjust them onto the center of every circle. As you can see we had just finished adjusting the size of the circle and size of the text. We'll do the same on this side as well. We'll select all the circles first, then we'll go to the properties panel. We'll adjust the diameter to 1.5 feet. Then I will still all of them are selected. As you can see, I will simply activate my move tool and will select the bottom point or the left point of this circle and will make sure that it is touching to the end point of the line. And now all of them just got shifted to the right location. Now I will select all the text only and then we'll go on to the properties panel and we'll go on to the height. Text height, I will change that to 1 feet and will press enter. Still, as you can see, all of them are selected, so I will simply activate my move tool and will try to move on to the right orientation. But here you can see they are not in the right orientation, so I will turn off the ortho mode so I can move it on any position. Here you can see I just placed it on the right orientation, and since all of them was selected at the same time, all of them just got adjusted. Few of them are still not at the right place, so I can adjust them little bit. Now as you can see, I had already adjusted the lines and the circles and the text for the grid. Now we need to adjust this scale of this line. As you can see, this dash is little bit higher, so I will simply run this LT scale tool that will adjust the scale of all our line types and will make sure that this value right now is 25, so I will make that to 10 and will press enter. Here you can see now they are looking much better and good into our floor plan. Now the next task is to add these annotations into our floor plan. So for that, what I will do, I will turn off these grid layers since I want to work with the annotations only. So I will expand these layers as you can see, and I will move on to my grid layers. And since as you can see the window is active layer at this moment, so I can turn off the other layers. So if I will just simply turn off these grid layers using this bulb icon. Here you can see all things just got hidden, turned off related to grids. Now the things are looking more clear, and now I can start adding annotation. So to start adding annotations like this, I need to start with a multi-line text. So I will go on to this annotation panel, and inside this text option we can activate this multi-line text, and then I will just define the text window like this, and then I can start writing the text. Here you can see I had just added the kitchen name over here, and then I will click outside of this text box and this kitchen name just got created. But we did a small mistake over here, that we had to change our layer. So I will select the object, then we will change our layer to texts. Here you can see, and I will also make sure that the text is active layer at this moment. Now as you can see, this size of this text is not really good. We had to keep texts of 1 feet text height. So I will go on to the text panel and I will click on this annotations, then onto the text. Here you can see I will click on this text style and a new window will pop up, and I will change that to standard. Here you can see that, or let's use this Roman one. So I will select that. I will change the font style as Arial. Here you can see I am just changing the font style to Arial, and also the height I will change to 1 feet, and will click on set current. I will click on yes and will click on close. So here you can see just now this text style just got updated, but the size is still wrong. So I will select the text, I will go on to the properties panel, and as you can see the text height is still 2 feet. So I will change that to 1 feet. I will press enter, and here you can see we had just created the text in right size. I will select the text again, I will move it onto the right location, somewhere over here in the middle of the kitchen area, like that. Then I will again select that text and I will copy it using the copy tool. I will copy it onto the area over here that says bed 1. I will click on the place and will press enter. Then we'll double click on the text to edit that text, and I will change this text to bed 1. Here you can see. I will again copy this kitchen text. I will select the text. I will activate my copy tool. I will specify the pick point of the text, and then we'll click over here to create a copy, and then I will press escape on my keyboard. Since this text is vertically oriented, as you can see over here, so I will select the text. I will activate the rotation tool. I will select any point of rotation, then will rotate like this. I will specify angle as 90 degree and will press enter. Here you can see. Now I will just double click on the text. I can edit this text. let's write it, close it. I will click outside of the text box, and here you can see. Now again I will copy this kitchen text and I will try to create text like this, as you can see, onto the different places. As you can see, we had just finished adding all the annotation to different areas of our floor plan. Now our next task is to add the room sizes or the floor area with all the annotations we had added to different areas. So for that, we'll activate this tool called measure. Here you can see inside this measure tool we got a tool called quick measure tool. I will activate that and I will simply move my cursor onto the first area. So here you can see it is giving me the height and the width of this area that says 40 feet 9 inches. So I will use this same value and will add with our bed 1 annotation. So then I will press escape since I know the value. I will just double click on the text and then I will press enter to move on to the next line. Then I will write 14 feet 9 inches, 14 feet 9 inches. So we had just added the length and width of like this. Now I want this text to be well oriented, so I will select the complete text like this. Now I will make sure that it is placed at the center of the text box. So here you can see, now I will move it and accordingly relocate it onto the area. We will repeat the same process for all the different areas. As you can see, while adding these annotations and sizes for different areas, we forgot one of the area, that is this path 2. So let's add this one as well. Now as you can see, we had just finished adding all the annotation and sizes for different areas. So let's turn on our grids back again. Here you can see, so I had just turned on that layer, grid layer, and here is how our floor plan looks now. So only thing left into our floor plan is this, all these furnitures we need to add. So before that, I want to add these values, this dimension to our drawings. So if someone wants to read our drawing, he or she will have complete idea about all the sizes and measurements. So this we can do using this tool called dimension tool. And here you can see inside this dimension annotation panel over here, we got a tool called linear dimension, align dimension, angular dimensions. I will activate my linear dimension tool and then we'll start dimensioning these grids, as you can see into this image. So the first dimension that I'm going to put is this complete length. So from this point to this point, here you can see, I will just put the dimension value like this. Here you can see that. Now you can see the problem. Right now the active layer for the dimension is not right. So what I will do, I will go on to the layer properties panel first. Then I will activate the dimension layer as the active layer. So I will just double click on it to activate it as active layer. Also in the dimension layer, I will change the line type to continuous. So it's continuous, that's really great. Now I will close the layer properties panel. Then we'll select my dimension value, and for this dimension also I will change the layer to dimensions layer. Here you can see that. Now the one dimension we had already assigned. Now we'll move again, activate our linear dimension tool, and I will assign all the other dimensions. Now again I will activate my linear dimension tool, and from this point to this point I will specify the dimension values, and similarly I will dimension all the grids. Now here you can notice that the dimension text style is not good. So to change or make anything inside our dimension style, we had to go onto this annotation panel over here, and here we had to click on this dimension style settings. So if we click on it, a new window will pop up like this, where the standard is the active standard dimension type. So I will click on modify to modify it, And if we'll go on to the text, here you can see that the standard text style is standard over here. So I can change it to something else. So I will click on this triple dot icon over here and it will bring me a new box. Here you can see, and here inside the text style, inside the font type, I can select the font of my choice. So for this particular drawing, I'm just going to take the simple font, that is the Arial font. Here you can see, I will click on set current, yes, close. Now I had changed my font style to Arial font. I will press apply, OK, click on set current, close, and here you can see all text just got changed to the different font style. Now if you want to change anything else like the font size, arrow style, or any settings about that is related to this dimension lines, dimension entities, then you can just go on to this annotation panel. You can activate this dimension style tab and start doing your changes as per your convenience. So now we had finished this horizontal dimensions. Now we'll move on to the vertical dimensions. So again I will activate my linear dimension tool and I will start from this point to this top grid. I will just put this value as 39 feet 10 inches, as you can see that, and will similarly put the other values also. As you can see, we also finished the vertical dimensions, but while I am seeing this complete floor plan, I can simply notice that the dimension text size that I had considered for all my dimensions is really very small. So instead of activating this dimension style tab from over here, I can also write this command into the command bar, that is dim style, and here you can see I can launch this tab from here as well through the command panel. So here you can see it got launched. I will just click on the modify. I will simply go on to the text over here, and instead of 6 inches I can write 1 feet and will press OK. So I'm just making the text size double the size it has right now. Okay, here you can see now it is looking very good, and it's also good looking, fitting with and matching with my other text. Now the only problem that I can see in the vertical dimension is that I want this text to be like aligned vertically as well. So again we'll launch the same command and we'll go on to the modify section over here, and inside the text if we'll see the text placement, or we can also select this one, like right now the text alignment is horizontal. So if we'll check this one like aligned with the dimension line, that will be good. So if we'll press OK, set current, close, here you can see now all my dimension text just got aligned with my dimension line. Now here is one more thing, I want these dimensions above my lines, as you can see in the style over here. So that setting we can also correct. So I told you that all the controls you can do from the settings itself. So here you can see the text placement, you will find some settings over here, like the text placement, it says vertically centered. So what we can do, we can write above, and in the horizontal text also that's it. We only had to change this setting to above, and I'll press OK, set current, close, and all my text now just got above my line, right? So this way you can play with different settings inside the dimension style, and whatever works best for you, you can use them. So you can see now we had just finished all these dimension things. Now the next thing that is left to include into our floor plan is these furnitures. So the furnitures that we can use inside floor plan, there are multiple ways. The one way is that we can download the furniture library from the internet and copy them and put into our floor plan. And the other way is we can create all these furnitures from the scratch, and that is going to take lots of time. So we don't want to waste our time. Our time is really very important. So I will recommend you to download the pre-made libraries of the AutoCAD furniture files, and you can simply copy them into your floor plan. So that's the most easiest way. Only you had to align them properly, you had to scale them properly, so they will be able to fit onto your floor plan. So that you only had to take care of. So let's see how we can download the library from the internet for the furnitures. To download the AutoCAD furnitures library from the internet, what I will do, I will launch my browser and I will simply search in the Google AutoCAD furniture DWG files, and here you can see it will give me a tons of file that is available on the internet for free. So what I will do, I will just look for the first search result that I am getting. Also there are multiple results that you can explore to find out your perfect match, but I will just go on to the first one and we'll see what options we are getting. So in this one you can see we are getting options for chairs, we are getting options for tables, we are getting options for bed. So some of them are free, some of are paid, but most probably you will find everything for free. You don't have to pay anything. So let's say I want to use these tables from this area over here. So I will just click on the drawing, and from then I will click on the download, and it will simply download the files. And if we open these files, here you can see these are all the pre-made blocks that someone has already created and uploaded on the internet. So if someone wants to use into these things into their floor plan, they can do that. So there is no copyright issues, you can simply use them, these blocks. So what I will do, I will take one of the table chair setup from over here. Let's say I want to bring this table chair setup, so I will simply press Ctrl C to copy it. Then I will move on to my floor plan that we were working, and then here I want to paste it. So I will press Ctrl plus V, and the moment I am pressing Ctrl plus V, here you can see the scale for this model was much higher than our current units. So maybe it's a kind of difference between the system of units. Maybe this person who were creating these drawings, they had followed some different system of unit, and right now here inside our drawing in our floor plan, we were following the architectural system of unit that were foot and inches. So we had to scale it down, and to scale down this table chair setup, we also had to have at least the overall size for this particular setup. So let's consider this as the table and chair, including the complete diameter is 700, or we can write it, let's consider this as a 6 feet diameter overall size for this particular setup. So what I will do, I will create a circle of 6 feet. Here you can see. So here is my circle that I had created of 6 feet. Now we had to scale it down, this complete setup that will fit inside this circle. Now to scale down this, what I will do, I will activate my scale tool. I will select the object first, will press enter, then we'll select the base point, then we'll click on the reference, then we'll select this base point, and then the outer diameter, then we'll try to bring in and we'll try to click onto the arc of our 6 feet circle that we had created. As you can see, all those furnitures just got scaled down and is now fitting inside the 6 feet circle diameter. So I will delete this one, I will move this one, I will activate my move tool, I will select the center point as a move point, and we'll try to place it onto our living dining room. So I can place it somewhere over here near to our window, right? Here you can see. And I will adjust my text as well, so it's not overlapping with my furniture, so I can move it and place it little bit space over here. Here you can see. So all the time you got complete freedom to move your objects, move your entities around your AutoCAD drawing based on your convenience, so the things will look good. So let's say in the living room we had placed this furniture. Now again we'll move on to our browser and we'll look for some other blocks as well. So we'll go back one step and we'll try to look for the bed blocks, or else what we can do, we can also search over here like bed, and we'll press enter, and here you can see we are getting multiple kind of floor plans free to use as well. So instead of what we can do, we can download some sample floor plan as well, and we can use those furnitures that is being used into that floor plan. But don't worry, here you can see we got a bed, also bed plans. So I can just download the complete block. I can click on download, and this is not just about this website, there are multiple websites that is where the AutoCAD file, DWG files are free to download. You just need to explore and see what are all the available options for you. So I will just open this bed plans, and here you can see inside this we got multiple blocks for the beds as well, and the one that you likes the most, you can simply copy it like this and then press Ctrl C to copy it, and then you can paste those things into your floor plan. So here instead of pressing Ctrl V to paste, I will use Ctrl Shift V to paste. So in that case, in that way I will be able to paste my content as a block, right? And now I had to scale it down so it will fit better over here. So let's consider that the bed size is 8 feet, right? 8 or including this mat, let's consider this as a 10 feet kind of size. So what I can do, I can create a line from any corner, and I will create a line of 10 feet size. Here you can see I will press Ctrl Z and will activate my ortho mode. Then I will create a line of 10 feet. Here you can see that now we have to scale down this complete bed up to this line. So what I will do, I will select my object, I will activate the scale tool, then we'll select the base point, then activate the reference tool, then again select the base point, then the overall size of your furniture, and then we'll drag it down up to match up to this line. And here you can see we had just scaled down that particular bed that is of actual size. Now what I will do, I will select this one, I will move it and will take a reference point to move. Then I will turn off this ortho mode, so I will be able to move it anywhere. So I will place it somewhere over here first, then I will select it again. I will rotate it as well by activating the rotate tool. Let's turn on this ortho mode. So I will rotate it something like this. Then again I will select it, I will activate my move tool, and I will make sure that it's fitting onto the corner space. So here you can see we had also placed the bed inside floor plan. So this was all the process, and I'm not going to show you how we can insert each and every component into our floor plan one by one, because it is going to take lots of time. What I will suggest you to, you can also do at your end. So I showed you the process, like how you can bring different components, furnitures into your floor plan, and that this is the most easiest way. And the moment you will develop your own self library of all these components, then you don't need to download from the internet. You can keep it as saved all the time, and whenever you need to reuse those components, you can simply copy them and bring it into your floor plan. So this was all about this floor plan, guys. And still, if you have any question, I will also show you how you can upload this complete floor plan as a PDF into this tutorial, but that will cover into the next session. Now in this session we'll learn how we can, since we had already finished this floor plan, now in this session we will learn how we can prepare this for printing or to convert it as a scaled PDF. So for that, what we will do, we'll move on to our paper space. Here you can see, also known as layout space. So if you'll click on it, here you can see we already had a layout ready over here. So whenever you will launch your drawing using the AutoCAD predefined templates, then you will be getting a blocks like this and also a layout setup like this that is already set up over here. But if you are starting from a scratch, maybe this space could be empty, then you can use your own title block and set up your paper size. And to set up your paper size, what you have to do is simply make a right click onto your layout name over here, and then click on page setup manager, and a new window will pop up like this. Here you can see, so here we already got few paper size set up already. So if you don't have any new setup over here, what you can do, you can click on new and you can start creating a custom one. So let's say we want to set up a A2 paper size page, so I can give it a name A2. I will press OK. So here you can see the new setup is getting created, and inside this plotter over here I will change here to DWG to PDF. Here you can see that. And then in the paper size, since I already written A2, so I will select the paper size as A2. So I will scroll and search for the A2 paper size. So here you can see ISO A2 paper size, I will select that, and in the option over here what to plot, I will keep this option layout. And also in the scale, what I will do, I will make sure that I am selecting 1:1. So this is very important. And now since I want to print this drawing with all the colors, I will make sure that the plot style here is none, and I'm not going to play with all these settings. I will keep it as default. I will simply press OK. So here you can see the new page setup just got created, and we'll click on set current and we'll click on close. So here you can see now my page setup just got scaled to a new A2 paper size. Now what we had to do is we had to simply copy the title block wherever we had created and paste it over here. Then we can scale that title block. Let's say we had this title block. Now we will scale this title block to fit inside this dash area space. So I will scale it up. I will activate my scale tool. I will select the first corner of it. Then I will activate the reference, and from this point to this point, and then I will scale it up and will make sure that it's completely fitting into our space. So here you can see it's almost fitting, so I am really happy with the result. Now we had to create a viewport over here, and to create viewport, again we'll move on to the layout tool panel over here, and from here we can activate a rectangular viewport. So I will activate a rectangular viewport and will try to create a viewport like this, where we want to paste our objects that we had created inside the layout space, inside the model space. So we'll be getting a projected view of those objects inside from our model space into this paper space, into this viewport that we had just created. And if we'll select this viewport, we'll be able to change the scale for that as well. So let's change the scale for that is to 1:1. So here you can see whenever we had changed the scale to 1:1. So if you want to go inside the viewport, I will just double click on it, and then I will pan my objects and will bring out my objects onto the center. So here you can see this is the 1:1 plotted object, but at 1:1 scale the things are bigger. So maybe we had to bring down the scale little bit. So maybe 1:2 will work best. So here you can see for 1:2 it's fitting well. The only thing that we had to do is I had to pan it and place it correctly onto this floor plan. Here you can see. And now if we'll just double click outside, here you can see this is now set up to be printed on a A2 paper size on. If we'll select the viewport, I can say that the scale is 1:2. So this is how you can prepare your plot for the printing. Also, again I will move on to my home tab, and into my layer properties panel I will set up a new layer also that will be known as viewport. Here you can see I will create a new layer that is known as a viewport, and for this viewport layer I will activate this as a active layer at this moment. Then we'll close this layer panel, we'll select the viewport that we had created and change the layer for that to viewport layer. And now what I will do, I will again activate my layer properties panel, and I will activate the 0 as an active layer at this moment. Then what I will do, as you can see this viewport we had assigned in the viewport layer. Now what I will do, I will launch my layer properties panel and will turn off that viewport layer. And because of that, what it will happen, the border that we were able to see for the viewport is getting hidden, and that's what we wanted. That's why we had hidden that viewport layer only, and because of that views are still available, only the border for the viewport just got hidden, that we don't need the area over here. So it's completely fine. And the next problem that we can notice into our floor plan is that for the grid lines the scale are not looking good, right? So what we can do, we can run this tool called LT scale, and then we can enter a new scale over here. So maybe we had to bring down the scale to 1 and we'll press enter. So you can see the 1 is working great, but it's again more fine, so we had to increase it a little bit further. So we'll again reactivate the last command by using spacebar, and then maybe we had to change to 5. We'll press enter. So the 5 is looking great, it's looking completely fine, and is looking like a dash line. So I'm really happy with the result. Now what I will do, I will simply go on to the output tab and we'll click on this plot tool, and it will be my page that we had set up for printing is ready for a preview thing. So what I will do, I will simply click on preview and I will be able to see the preview. So if we'll plot it, it will be coming something like this onto A2 paper size. So we'll make a right click and click on plot. I will be getting a PDF file converted of A2 paper size, and if we'll save it onto a place, let's save it onto the right folder, into the AutoCAD training folder. So I can save it onto any of the training folder, and if we'll click on save, it is just getting saved, it's just getting plotted, and here is the final result as a PDF onto A2 paper size. Scale for this PDF is 1:2 if you remember. So this is what we had created. This is what we had created and finally converted as a PDF. And again, if you want to make any change, you can go back and make any changes inside the model space of your floor plan. So this was all about the complete tutorial about AutoCAD floor plan that I had started from the scratch, and I had explained you every bits and bytes, all the small things and all the important things to make your floor plan looks much professional and more amazing. So if you feel that all these contents, all these tutorials are really helping you to learn AutoCAD, please support me, like this complete tutorial, like this complete course, and also don't forget to leave your feedback. So see you guys, thanks for watching.